I have been playing a lot of Battlefield Hardline recently, and I have a few different strategies now that are helping me increase my KD ratio, which are in turn making me a better Battlefield player. But before you jump down my throat, I know, this is a play the objective game. Battlefield is all about playing the objective, and the tips I give you are going to help you stay alive longer, win some of those battles you've been losing, and ultimately play the objective better, which makes you a better Battlefield player. Now, Hardline's design kind of puts you into the action a lot quicker than you've had in previous titles. The boring 4-minute runs you've had in previous versions of Battlefield, those are gone. You're going to basically spawn, you're going to have a few steps, and you're going to be into the action. It's all up in your face, and so you need to make sure that you're on top of your game when you start a map. In your first few matches, experiment with guns you're given, find one that really works for your playstyle. Each class has different weapons available to you to cater to different attacks. Play with each one to find out which works best for you per map and per mode, and as you progress in a class, you're given extra loadouts. I think it's around 5 at this point. Use those loadouts to switch around weapons and gadgets, as your setup might change per mode, and you need to find that sweet one per map and per mode. Now, if you're new to Battlefield, try starting out in Team Deathmatch first. Get your bearings, understand the map layouts, and then progress to some of the more objective-based modes. But ultimately, you need to be patient. You're not Rambo. Remember that. This is not a game that offers free-for-all modes, and there are no free-for-all modes, and that's for a good reason. This is a game about playing the objective. So remember, you're not Rambo. You need to play as a team. Now, when you're aiming, that's kind of a little tricky for players that are new to Battlefield. You have to kind of figure out where to aim based on the recoil of your weapon. Now, me personally, I generally aim at the center of a player's chest or from attacking from behind, the upper center of their back. I manually burst fire by pulling the trigger in rhythm, and then I work my way to the player's head based on the range. Now, if you're in close range, just kind of, hold the gun down. You're going to have a lot of recoil, but it'll probably save you. Use your secondary weapons and gadgets as well. Now, a lot of players make this mistake. They kind of stick to their primary weapon. They don't think their secondary weapon's any good. Secondary weapons and gadgets will save you time and time again in this game. For me personally, I switch to my pistol a lot. If you find yourself in a situation where you've run out of ammo, and you need to take out another player, or a second one comes up on you, use your pistol, use your pistol, use your pistol. This game also gives you a bunch of different grenades. You've got incendiary grenades, you have gas grenades. Most players aren't going to wear gas masks in this game, so gas grenades are really effective, and they're a great way to disorient your enemy. They can also kill them too. Now, if you're looking for ways to flank the enemy if they're camping in a position, I personally recommend using the grappling hook. They're incredibly useful in the game, and if an enemy team is camping in a certain position and you can't get to them via a ladder, use the grappling hook to shoot, the side or the back of the building to get around from, for a surprise attack. And if your teammates use the grappling hook, you actually get an in-game bonus of, I think, 25 points. So it's a great way to be a team player. If you're playing Hotwire, try out Sabotage. I think it's around 30 or so thousand for in-game cash. But if you use Sabotage on a vehicle, as soon as an enemy player tries to get into that vehicle, as soon as they drive forward, it's going to blow up and you get a free kill. If you're playing modes like Heist or Blood Money, zip lines are a great way to get from point A to point B. You can get the cash, you can shoot the zip line to where you need to go, and you can be on your way and just absolutely rack up tons and tons of points that way. Now, when you're aiming as well, something I see a lot of players do is they reload immediately. Stop reloading immediately after a kill. Get a kill or two, know your clip size for that gun that you're using, and reload once the coast is clear. When you're reloading, make sure you have a bit of cover, or you're at least strafing around a corner to keep yourself from being an easy target. Now, earlier we talked about, for newer players to play Team Deathmatch. Again, it's a great way to understand the map layouts, but once you get to objective-based modes, the routes that players might take are usually a little bit different. They have different lanes. For Heist, they might take, this lane. For Blood Money, they might take a different one. So you need to understand that as well. You need to think about which lanes give your opponent a good sight line on you. You want to minimize the time that you're out in the open. Do not be the guy or the girl that runs out completely in the open and blows their cover. You want to find, spots that give you cover, and you want to move from cover to cover and find at least 1 or 2 angles that maybe the enemy can attack you from, and you ultimately control that situation or that position. Now, when you're playing the game, stick with teammates. When, at all possible, play with friends or people that have mic or headsets and you can communicate with, but if you're playing with random players, try and move around with them to increase your chances to stay alive. Being around other players increases your chances to live, as the opponents may, spray and pray if they see too many people, or your squad mates could even contribute damage to the opposing player, and that's going to help you get an easier kill, or even an assist, which are great in this game. Now, your squad mates will likely be different classes than you. You may run into situations where you're all running the same class, and if that's the case, be the bigger person and try and switch your class to help balance out the team. Having a member who drops ammo, who drops health, or can put a spawn point up that's very cleverly placed is incredibly useful in the heat of battle. It can really turn the tide. And lastly, the very last tip that I have for you guys is do not ignore the mini-map. You're able to use R1 and RB depending on the system you're on to spot enemies while playing, and they'll showcase the enemies on the map with a little orange triangle above their head to make it easier to understand where other players are. You can also adjust the minimap size in the options menu, so if you prefer a larger or smaller version than what you currently have, you can switch that pretty easily. And don't forget to pay attention to the minimap as you maneuver around, because when you're playing heists or some of the more objective-based modes, it's great to plan your attacks when you have players with headsets. And you'll stay alive a lot longer if you really know where everyone is. So guys, if you enjoyed these tips, let me know by leaving a comment below. If you have a tip that you personally have that's making you a better Battlefield player, I want to hear it. Leave me a comment and tell me. Don't forget to like this video to show your support, and make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Battlefield Hardline videos.